We have unsealed criminal charges against a North Korean computer programmer for participating in a conspiracy that conducted sophisticated cyber attacks around the world on behalf of the North Korean government. Members of the conspiracy are responsible for some of the most damaging and most well-known cyber intrusions in history, including the cyber attack targeting Sony Pictures, the cyber heist of Bangladesh Bank, and creating the WannaCry ransomware.
That was the Justice Department announcing charges Thursday against an alleged North Korean hacker. The criminal complaint specifically charges Park Jin-hyuk with wire fraud and computer fraud. This marks the first time the United States has brought such charges against a Pyongyang operative. Joining me now from the White House is CBS News Washington correspondent Paula Reed. All right, Paula, remind us of the crippling impact some of these hacks have had over the past several years.
Olene, we're talking about hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars. In addition to the 2014 hack against Sony Pictures Entertainment, he's also alleged to have committed hacks against defense contractors, law enforcement, financial institutions, and he is also alleged to have been behind the WannaCry 2.0 ransomware attack. That attack put ransomware on hundreds of thousands of computers around the world and nearly crippled the British healthcare system. So it's a significant impact for just one alleged actor.
Well, how are they able to connect this alleged hacker to all of these cyber attacks?
They won't reveal all of their sources and methods, but what they would say is they were able to connect social media and email accounts to his activity. And they said he also attempted to use proxies to try to hide his exact location.
Well, a federal warrant was issued for this person's arrest, but will he ever realistically see jail time?
Not realistically. We've seen this when the Justice Department has tried to indict or charge hackers working on behalf of China, Russia, Iran, and now North Korea. The fact is we don't actually have normalized relations with North Korea, never mind an extradition treaty. Justice officials told me earlier today that they didn't even communicate with North Korea ahead of filing these charges. So oftentimes these types of cases, this is largely symbolic. There's no evidence that this actually has any sort of deterrent effect, but there's absolutely no expectation that he will ever be extradited or see the inside of a U.S. courtroom.
So how will the U.S. try to hold North Korea accountable then?
Well, in addition to making sort of a public statement, which is what the Justice Department always says they're doing in these cases, when we press them on this issue of how really sort of ineffective this appears on the surface, they have also filed sanctions. But it's unlikely that these sanctions would have any impact against this individual, as he's not really allowed to travel outside of North Korea. So it's unclear how either one of these law enforcement actions will have any sort of impact. The other outstanding question is why they were announced today. These charges were actually filed back in May, around the time of the North Korea summit with President Trump and Kim Jong-un, but they were only released today. And we asked Justice Department officials, we said, well, why today? Why didn't you release them at the time? And again, we were not able to get any clear answer on that.
So that's interesting on the timing. Also on the timing, hours before the Justice Department announced these charges, President Trump praised Kim Jong-un on Twitter. Was the president or the White House made aware of these charges?
Again, I asked my Justice Department sources about this, and all they would say is that in any national security case, they certainly try to loop in with their national security counterparts here at the White House. When I pushed some more and asked who specifically did you talk to, when did you talk to them, and whether or not there was any sort of interagency coordination, we did not get an answer or any sort of confirmation about whether the president was made aware of this case before it was released today.